One of my favorite salads, and this is my super crunch kale salad with a tahini dressing. Now I'm telling you, I know so many people really dislike kale, but that's just because they've never had the salad and they've never had the kale that was prepared properly. So even the kale haters, I promise, I can't guarantee you, but I promise they will like it. So here are the ingredients that you need for the salad. You need at least one bunch of kale. Probably 2 bunches, so you'll see why. So kale, for sure, you will need a lemon, 1 clove of garlic, optional, a good quality olive oil, maple syrup, and I use coconut aminos. You could also use tamari or soy sauce, and tahini. Tahini is sesame seed paste. I like this, just like a generic brand that I buy in the grocery store. I really like this one because it's very runny. And runny one is really good for this recipe. However, if you don't have a runny tahini, that's okay. We can adjust the recipe later. The equipment that you'll be using is a whisk or a fork. You'll need actually I don't need this. I need a tablespoon, so a measuring spoon, a knife, a cutting board, 1/4 of a cup measuring cup, a garlic press, a bowl so that you can make your dressing. I have my salad spinner here, and a bowl to serve your kale. I also have one other thing, a lemon. You can use a lemon press, juicer, a citrus juicer, or you can use one that is like a handheld. All right, so the first step is take your salad spinner and take your kale out of the plastic wrap. Now, I haven't washed this kale. I've done nothing. This is straight from the grocery store. And I'm going to peel the stems off just like this. And what you want to do is just take your hand and you're going to run your hand down the stem and peel off the kale just like that. Because nobody wants to eat the stems. And you'll notice that some of the tops, as you take them off, you'll have a little bit of stem here. That's okay. We're going to deal with that when we massage our kale. So taking all the kale off here. So like that, we'll deal with that in a bit. All right. You can get rid of your stems because we don't need them anymore. If you're into juicing, you can actually use the stems for juicing. All right, so I'm gonna wash my kale and rinse it. I'll be back. All right, so my kale's been rinsed. I'm going to spin it in my salad spinner to get rid of all the excess moisture. And this is my favorite salad spinner from Hemp. I love it. It's really easy to use. And I usually store my greens in it in the fridge. All right, so my kale have already been spun. What I'm gonna do now is transfer my kale into my salad bowl. Now, it looks pretty, like high enough. It comes about a little bit more than half of the bowl. And right now, what we are going to do is massage our kale. This is the most important part because nobody wants to eat a big, huge kale leaf on its own as a salad. It's just like too big. Nobody's gonna be eating that. We're gonna make this more palatable and yummy for everybody. All right, so I'm just gonna get my hands right in here and I'm gonna be pulling the kale apart. All right, I'm just ripping it. And as I go and keep ripping my kale, I feel big stalks, okay? I'm gonna take those big stalks out and keep ripping and massaging my kale Kale, if you didn't know, calorie for calorie has more calcium than milk does. However, kale doesn't have very many calories and no fat, low in calories, and very high in fiber. So really great for people who need to get more fiber in their diet. So we massaged our kale, and do you remember how much we started with, right? It was like half the bowl. Now look it. I can fit almost that in my fist. So we started with a big fibrous, leaves, and now look, we have bite-sized pieces, and this is what makes it more enjoyable. Okay, so that's why I suggested having at least 2 bunches of kale, because look at this salad. I can eat that in one sitting probably alone. So if you're making this for a large number of people, you're gonna want 2 bunches of kale. So we're gonna set this aside, and we are going to we're gonna make our dressing. So I'm going to start by pressing my 1 garlic clove. Now, I like to use a small garlic, and for friends who've had this salad, they're like, why does it taste different when I make it than when you make it? I'm like, it's all about the garlic. So if you're using a big clove, it will taste more garlicky. So I like to use, if you're not really into too much garlic, you can omit it altogether, or you can use half a clove. I am going to use a whole one. And why I am doing my garlic first is because garlic needs to be pressed and then left out for a few minutes, like 5 minutes, for all the enzymes and all the benefits of garlic to kind of happen. It's almost like, and this is more so when you're cooking with garlic. We're not cooking with it, we're putting it in our dressing, so not a big deal. I'm gonna take my lemon, cut it in half, and squeeze all the juice out of half of my lemon. I'm going to take 1/4 of a cup of extra virgin olive oil. One-quarter of a cup of tahini, again, sesame seed paste. Woo! And dump that in. And now for our coconut aminos. Again, you can use soy sauce or tamari. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of my coconut aminos. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Ooh, overflowing. And lastly, we are going to add in the garlic. And I'm just going to whisk this up. So if you have a tahini a sesame seed paste that is really thick, maybe you need to scoop it out with a spoon. What I suggest is scoop that out with a spoon, put it in, and then mix it all together and see what the consistency is. If you want to add more olive oil, go ahead and do that. So mine looks something like that. So that's my consistency here. Now, here's a tip. Because you can put this in the fridge I have done it for 5 days, and use it a few days later. So when you put it in the fridge, this is going to harden up, and you're going to take it out and say, this is not a dressing. This is like, how am I going to use it? So one tip is just to leave it out for 2 minutes on the counter. Let it kind of get a little warm to room temperature. You can use a whisk, you can use a fork to kind of bring that consistency back. However, I found that I've never gotten the consistency like this a couple days later. So what I always do is I like to thin it out with some more lemon. So start by adding 1 tablespoon, maybe more tablespoons of lemon, just to thin out that thick sauce. So we're going to put our dressing to the side. And here, if you want to taste it, if that tastes sweet enough to you, for me, this is perfect. And I'm going to place that to the side. So let's talk about the crunch part of the salad. This is where you can go buck wild and put in anything that you want for your toppings. My favorites are pepitas, otherwise known as pumpkin seeds. And so I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on top. I start with the larger seeds first because the small seeds, you don't want those to get covered up. Then I have sunflower seeds. And I've just gotten the seeds from my local bulk store. Then I like to put some color in here. So we really like cranberries and adds a little bit of sweetness as well to it. Red and green, kind of looks a little Christmassy. And then I'm gonna add my small seeds. So I like hemp hearts. So getting in some more protein, some more fiber, even omega-3s. Just sprinkle that on top. And lastly, chia seeds. Again, more omega-3s, more fiber. This salad is so filled, chock full of superfoods. All right, so here is what our finished super crunch kale salad looks like. And when I bring this over to friend's house, I'll just cover it with plastic wrap and then bring it just like this. And then before we eat it, I'm going to dress it. So you can pour, you wouldn't use, because this is a very small salad, we wouldn't use the whole amount here. I would use half of that, but you're gonna pour it over top and then, let me get a spoon. So I'm going to take the dressing and just put it all over. I am using a spoon because I don't want too much to come out. So we'll see what that looks like when we mix it up. And we want to get it really nice and coated. And you know what I love about kale is that this salad, if you don't eat it all today, you can actually put it in the fridge and you can still eat it tomorrow. So kale doesn't get soggy like other leafy greens does, which I love because I love leftovers and I love the salad. So leftover salad is fine if it's this kale. And that looks about done. So see, really, that is like 1 or 2 I like a lot of salads, so it's 1 or 2 servings. So one bunch doesn't get you very far, depending on how big your bunches are. So enjoy your kale salad. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'll be posting more videos of my favorite recipes and recipes I'm sure your family will love.